Hello and welcome. It is Friday. We got a fun Friday here. Finally, we made it to the weekend. The NFL Combine is still rocking and rolling here in town. It is warming up outside. And with that, we're going to start off with a lot of basketball. Here locally, if you're in Indiana, you are a... Let's adjust something here. There we go. Maybe that works. There we go. That's better. If you're in Indiana, you understand the significance of high school basketball. And tonight is a great night for the high school boys basketball tournament. We are in sectional semifinals, which means there'll be two games at each of the sectional locations. Winners play tomorrow for the sectional championship. If you're not in Indiana, this is one of the weekends that is circled through the year that you just feel a little pep in your step, a little bit more excitement. It is a fantastic time. Usually, we have snow this week. There's usually sectional snow, which means when the sectional tournament's going on, started Tuesday or Wednesday, through the weekend, we have snow at some part. But not this weekend. It's going to be 60s. It's going to be nice outside. It's going to be awesome. So, a lot of good teams out there still playing. We'll check on those through the weekend, basically. But the couple games that are of a national interest in the world of college basketball, the Coach K farewell tour, whatever you want to call it, finally concludes tomorrow at home at Cameron Indoor at Duke. My Tar Heels go in as underdogs. Tar Heels are fourth in the ACC. Duke has won the ACC. North Carolina's on the bubble. They may not make it. A win here would really help. Depends on who you're talking to. Depends on if North Carolina is in the tournament. Personally think they should be in. They're good enough. They're one of the best how many teams were taken. So we'll see what happens there. The game is tomorrow afternoon at, 6 o'clock. Duke is where are we at here? What's the spread? What's the spread? Looks like 6. Looks like it's a 6-point favorite, but that doesn't, I don't know. We'll find out later sometime maybe. Anyway, bet the Tar Heels. It's fun for me because it's North Carolina at Duke. It's always a great game. I hate them because they're so stressful, but they are a lot of fun to watch. They're a lot of fun to be a fan of. And frankly, Duke is better than North Carolina. They just are this year. It stinks. I hate to say that, and it upsets me. But they are better. So we'll see what happens. There is nothing I would like more than my team to go in and get the win in Cameron Indoor and send Coach K out with a loss. That would be so very fun for me. I would really enjoy it. So we'll see what happens. I haven't even really watched many of the Carolina games this year. There's been other stuff going on, and every time I watch them, they stink. So I follow along on the Twitterverse on my phone, and I hate missing them, but it's kept me nice and calm. Let's just say that. Other big game this weekend, the mighty Indiana Hoosiers travel to West Lafayette, Indiana to face the Purdue Boilermakers. This is a absolutely gigantic, huge game. IU really needs this one. The Boilermakers should have won the Big Ten. They didn't. It's tough to say underachieving, but they probably should have won the Big Ten tournament. The Big Ten. Wisconsin did that. Wisconsin's a great team, but I think Purdue's better. But IU is in this situation because a couple nights ago, Ron Harper Jr. and Rutgers came to Indiana and hit a three near the buzzer. IU lost. They need a win in a bad way. If they don't get a win tomorrow, They need to win a couple games next week in the Big Ten tournament. And if you are an IU fan, you know that that is a tough thing to do. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this weekend, but a lot of big basketball. Like I said, a lot of high school basketball, a lot of college basketball. It's going to be a great weekend to see what happens as the boys basketball tournament gets going. And after tomorrow, we get into the conference tournament for the NCAAs. And Selection Sunday is a week from this Sunday. So anyway, we'll see what happens. Daily Christ. Sorry, we're sending the link out, so hold tight with me. Okay. All right. So that's what's going on in the world of basketball. What's going on with the Lakers? The Lakers stink. Here's what really happened. They had a lot of good defenders. LeBron was healthy. Anthony Davis was healthy. They thought all we have to do is tweak a little bit of this offense, a little bit of who we have, and then we'll be off to the races. Well, reality is you got rid of your best defenders. Nobody's stayed healthy. Russell Westbrook is great, but he's just good enough to get you to the point. He's not going to take you past the point to win a title. So, a lot of crazy things happen in the NBA. Our Pacers are playing really well. They're still losing some games, which is fine because we went that high lottery pick. But it appears that they kind of have a nucleus here moving forward with Halliburton and a couple others. So we'll see what happens. But that's really the world of basketball. We're focusing on some games this weekend for college. Of course, high school is fun if you're around the area. A lot of fun stuff happening there. Okay, baseball. The Players Association has $1 million that they are using to distribute to players that are in need because they want this lockout to go and to continue. Well, they don't want it to, but they think they need it to. It is something where now some people are meeting here and there for an hour, a couple things like this. My question to you, baseball, and maybe people out there are smarter than me that actually know this, why aren't they meeting every single minute of every single day? Like, why do we just say, 2 series are canceled, see ya, and now we've been home for 3 days now and we're just sitting here? Why aren't we meeting all the time trying to figure this out? I just don't understand what the heck is going on and why this is happening like this. So it's frustrating. It's annoying. I just don't understand the whole thing. So, maybe some people with bigger brains that are smarter than me hopefully can figure this all out. But I would think if we're in a situation where you're locking me out or vice versa, we're going to talk all the time to try to come to a conclusion that would be best for everyone. So another article I read said that the refunds don't need to begin on a lot of the streaming services, a lot of the cable services until after 30 games, I think. You get like a free trial there for a couple weeks, and then you can figure out if you really want it or not. So that's what the owners are trying to get to is as long as they don't go past that date, then they're going to keep money and everything will be business as usual. I don't know. In my case, in my instance, it seems like the owners are just being very, very, very selfish here. I understand the players are standing up for their rights. They're standing up for what they need to do. And I really respect that. And I think it's awesome. But I really, at the end of the day, think the owners have really screwed this up. And it stinks that they said there's going to be a work stoppage. They don't talk for 30 or 40 days. They talk really quick. Everything's fine. It seems like they're going to make a deal and then the owners add more stuff to it. And yes, this is billionaires versus millionaires, whatever people want to talk about. But at the end of the day, the owners have all the power. It's their brand. It's their company. It's their business. You basically are an employee for them. Now, you as an employee are getting paid really, really well. But I understand why there's the challenges and the arguments and things like that. So it's frustrating. It stinks, but it's going to go on. It seems like it's definitely going to go on for a few more days. So we'll see what happens. Amari Cooper appears to be done with the Cowboys. They're going to owe him $20 million when the new league year starts. Where does he go? What's a good fit? Well, Indianapolis is a good fit. Nobody's talking about like a Green Bay. Would he fit there? Maybe. Could you get him and Devontae back? with Aaron Rodgers, if you're redoing Aaron Rodgers' deal. He's going to want to go somewhere where he can go, be a big part of the offense, and be with a team that's ready to win. There's going to be people out there looking for him. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, maybe, Seattle. A lot of different opportunities for Amari Cooper to go. I think he's got a lot of good football left. I think he would be a great fit here. The Colts really need some help, so anything he can do would be a big asset. Kenny Pickett, the stud from Pittsburgh, only measured at 8.5 inches with his hands. Oh my gosh! Well, that stinks, but if he plays in the NFL, which he will, it'll be the record smallest hands ever. So you worry about that with gripping the ball, making sure you're throwing a spiral, playing in the cold. Well, he did all those. He did all those in Pittsburgh, so we'll see what happens with that moving forward. But that is something that a lot of people are concerned about with hand size. My hands are 8 inches. I measured them. 8 inches. Can't palm a basketball and can barely hold a football. So I understand why 8.5, 9 inches. Joe Burrow's 9 inches with his hands, and it was a struggle. Coming out in the combine, it was a struggle to talk to people about that because they're all were trying to ding him, and look at him now. So that's one thing coming out of the combine. Malik Willis from Liberty threw a bomb yesterday. It's all over the internet. Quarterback, really, really good. I watched a few of his highlights, and I think he's awesome. I've seen him through the year, but that's somebody to keep an eye on. Is Malik Willis from Liberty. We'll see what happens there. So, let's see. A bunch of receivers ran in the 4s for the 40. Baylor, Tyquan Thornton, 4.2. Chris Olave, 4.3 from Ohio State. That Chris Olave is a stud. Watched a lot of Big Ten football, and he always is open. He's making tough catches. He is going to be he has to be a top 10, 15 pick. And he is a machine. He is going to be a great asset to somebody. Just gets open, makes catches. There were a couple against Michigan that you're like, what in the world? Like, how are you making these catches? So he is ready to go. Tyquan Thornton, 4.2. That's an all-time record in the 40. Did you know the 40-yard dash was started by, I think, Paul Brown? Because that's how far they had to run on punt coverage. How about that? So they did the 40-yard dash to see who can go cover punts the best. And now we've kept it. So Dan Patrick had a great comment about this. I don't care how quick you run the 40. Very, very frequently you're going to get open field and run 40 yards. I want to see your quickness. I want to be your agility. I want to see how fast you are, your quick muscle motions. Those drills, I think, are more important than the 40 and stuff like that. So those you can really tell. There's great video of Jonathan Taylor from a couple years ago going into a hole and making the right decision. And that's funny because when Richardson was here and playing, he did not. So a lot of stuff going on with the combine. The questions are still out there. Will Lamar Jackson play out his contract? The Ravens have said they're ready to talk. Aaron Rodgers, they still feel like Aaron Rodgers is going back to Green Bay. Everybody kind of feels that way. They feel like that's kind of where everything is headed. What else? They Russell Wilson, are they shopping him? All indications say no. It does not sound like they really truly are shopping him, but it does kind of sound like they are really looking to see who is interested. The Broncos are an interesting group. Young core, new young head coach, offensively minded. It's really, really interesting because they need a quarterback. Where's Mitchell Trubisky going? And with Mitchell Trubisky, here's the argument, or here's what you discuss, and here's what you think about. He played 1 year at Carolina and looked really, really good. The Bears gave up a ton, jumped up above everybody else and picked him over Watson and Mahomes. So he automatically got a strike because he wasn't those guys. He was with Chicago that hasn't had an offense since Walter Payton was there. They haven't had competent leadership since Walter Payton was there. And it was kind of one of those set up to fail type things. So they went over to Buffalo. Learned with offensive coordinators, the head coach, a bunch of people in the coaching staff that knew what they were doing. Sat underneath Josh Allen, watched, learned, observed. Even though Josh Allen is younger, you can still learn and observe. What does he do now? Is he going to demand a top-level, top-shelf quarterback? I don't think so. So, is he better than Carson Wentz? You don't really know. Is he a good fit for Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh is interesting. Pittsburgh's almost like a wild card. You think Aaron Rodgers is the wild card of where's he going. You think Deshaun Watson's a wild card, and you think of Russell Wilson. Those are the three that you're like, what really is going to happen here? The second tier down, you have Derek Carr and Matt Ryan. Both are probably staying where they are, but worth examining. Then you get down to Jimmy G. You get down to Mason Rudolph. You get down to Drew Lock. You get down to Trubisky. You get down to Wentz. Where are those guys going? Jameis Winston, stuff like that. The one to keep an eye on, very, very interesting, is he's here with us, Carson Wentz. It did not work. It just didn't work. And now the reports coming out that the Colts not only are unhappy with his on-the-field stuff, but his off-the-field, his leadership, how he acted with everything. They weren't big fans of it. So we'll see really, truly what happens. If they're questioning your leadership after 1 year, and they're not saying that you're our guy moving forward, you're a franchise quarterback, you're done. You're done. There's no way he's the quarterback here. They're going to move on. They're going to move on, and we'll see what happens. Now, with Mitchell Trubisky, is he a good fit here? Is Wentz a good fit in Pittsburgh? All these questions are worth asking. Where does Denver fall into this? Where does Seattle fall into this? Is Seattle in a full rebuild where they really do not care about wins and they want to rebuild and they say, Pete Carroll, you're our guy for the future? There's a lot going on here and a lot of different questions. And you start to see a few things here as the combine's going. Kenny Pickett will be a first-round pick. After that, probably no other quarterback. Is anybody going to make a move at the end of the first round to try to jump up there? I'm still telling you, if I'm Jordan Love's agent, I'm really interested in what's going on because can I request a trade to get out of here if they're reworking Rodgers' deal for 2 or 3 years? Jimmy G, is he an upgrade for Drew Lock, for Mason Rudolph, for Carson Wentz? Is Trubisky better? Where does Kirk Cousins fall into this? A crazy high contract that they don't want, but nobody else wants it. So there's a ton of questions going on with football, a ton of questions going on with the quarterback. I feel like every day we're having the same conversation about the quarterbacks, but every day there's a little spin on it that we don't really think about or talk about. Today's this Mitchell Trubisky. He's getting a lot of smoke out there for a lot of teams that are really interested. And these Carson Wentz to Pittsburgh rumors are picking up speed in a really big way. And I don't know if that's just fans saying that or if somebody's, slipping everything. The weird world that we're in 2022 is if you're an agent, you can put any information out there. You can tell the narrative however you want. However you want to tell people to feel, that's what you can do. And it's very, very interesting to see who's taking the bait, who's not. The Kyler Murray incident, releasing a letter Monday morning before the week starts with the Combine. That was planned. They had that planned for a few days. And it did its job for a minute, and then it backfired. And now the Kyler Murray camp is looking at the Cardinals like, what the heck? The coach and the general manager just got contract extensions and we didn't. So what the heck is going on here? So I don't know. It's an interesting time to be an NFL fan. It's an interesting time to look around the league and see what's going on. The Combine continues through the weekend, so we'll probably get some news here and there. Hopefully baseball makes some marks. But before we end the show, we always want to talk about minor league baseball. Today's team is the Hartford Yard Goats. At Go Yard Goats is their Twitter handle. They're the official account of the Hartford Yard Goats, AA affiliate of the Rockies, at Dunkin' Donuts Park. And they're America's favorite sports team, if you didn't know that. So check them out. They're a really, really fun follow. They got some great merch. It's a goat with a baseball bat. It's fantastic. They got a lot of fun stuff coming up for St. Patrick's Day. It's a really, really, really fun team to follow. They've got a lot of great following with a lot of just fun stuff. They've got an 80s night. these minor league teams do the best with promotions. They do the best with self-promotion. And they're trying to tell a story of, hey, here's baseball, great baseball, some young players that are having fun with it. Come check it out. You're going to have a great time at the ballpark, not spend a lot of money, see some great baseball, some great sports, and you're going to have a lot of fun. So, Go Yard Goats is the Twitter handle. Make sure you give them a follow. And tell them Craig sent you. All right, thanks for tuning in. It is Friday. I don't know if we're going to have a show this weekend. Tomorrow morning, we got some outside baseball practice with the old 13-year-old boys. Excited about that. And maybe we'll jump on tomorrow, Sunday. We'll pop in. But make sure you do. Please give us a follow on YouTube, The Daily Craig. Also, dailycraig.net is the website. And then Daily Craig Indy is the Twitter handle.